Okay, this is a podcast on evolution. So evolution is a change in a population over time, not individuals changing, but populations changing. Okay, so at the Galapagos Island, off the coast of South America, Charles Darwin noticed something about each island. He noticed that every island had organisms that had similar traits, but they seemed to be very well suited towards their environment. So their traits seemed to make them very likely to survive and very likely to reproduce, to pass on those traits. And I am going to show this through Angry Birds. Okay, but before I do that, I need to go over this. So it says traits of organisms that make them better suited for their environment and allows them to reproduce and survive and reproduce are called adaptations. So, for example, an octopus. What is a trait that an octopus has that allows it to survive? And some people will say, well, it could camouflage. And yeah, that does allow it to survive. Others may say, oh, the octopus shoots ink, so it's able to escape predators. That is another adaptation that it has. So an adaptation is basically a trait that allows it to survive, that allows it to reproduce. And because of this, it's going to increase its fitness. So fitness in biology does not mean, oh, how strong you are. It means the ability to survive. So if you're able to survive, you have a high fitness. If you're not going to survive because your traits aren't very well suited for the environment, then we say that you have a low fitness. Okay. So here's the first Galapagos Island on your handout. It says that in this random island, finches spend most of their time on the ground. Okay. And there is an abundance of hard seeds. Okay. One of the Angry Birds adaptations, so it's an advantageous beak phenotype, meaning that its beak will determine whether it's able to eat these hard seeds right here. So having a large crushing beak is an adaptation. And where it says what is fitness, you're going to write the ability to survive and reproduce. Fitness will increase, okay? It's going to increase because it will survive and reproduce, because it will be able to eat the hard seeds. It's going to be able to crush through those seeds to eat its food. Okay, DNA sequence. Let's say there's a DNA sequence right here, and it codes for beak shape. A substitution mutation caused the DNA sequence to change. Okay, and it caused a finch to produce a baby finch with a permanent soft beak. Will this finch survive on its own on this island? Why or why not? So go ahead and think about that for a moment. If there is a mutation and it causes a baby finch to have a permanent soft beak, will this finch survive or reproduce? Why or why not? And you should have written something along the lines of it won't survive and reproduce because it won't be able to eat through the hard seeds if it doesn't have a hard beak. And so its fitness will actually decrease in this situation. So I want you guys to try this one, Galapagos Island 2. Go ahead and press the pause button, and then once you're done, check your answer. Okay, now that you tried, Galapagos Island 2 says that the environment has lots of trees with very little seeds. So we don't have seeds anymore, but there is an abundance in soft fruits. So soft fruits, they're very easy to crush through, right? if you have, a sharp beak. So we don't really need sharp beaks. So one of the advantageous phenotypes is a parrot-like small and soft beak, so that it doesn't destroy the fruit, right? So this is advantageous. It might have been bad if you had this in the first island, but on the second island, it's actually a good thing to have soft beaks. So the fitness will increase because it will be able to eat the soft fruit without destroying it, and it's gonna survive and reproduce. Okay, so go ahead and try the third one, and then press the pause button, and then check back in. So Galapagos Island 3, the environment has an abundance in insects. The beak phenotype, it's huge grasping beak that cannot see well. So I know that's grammatically it's a little off there, but let's say there's a lot of insects and your beak is really big, and because these insects are really tiny, you can't really see them. What's going to happen to the fitness? Okay, and you should have written something along the lines of fitness will decrease because the finch won't be able to detect the insects, and it's not going to be able to survive. And if it's not going to be able to survive, then it cannot pass those traits to the next generation. So the main idea here that I'm trying to get across is that organisms better suited for an environment will survive and pass on those beneficial traits, while the traits that are useless or not useful, not advantageous, pretty much decrease over time because they won't be able to survive, and if they don't survive, then they don't pass on those traits. So provide one adaptation that would allow finches to thrive in Island 3. So if this was not a good phenotype, then what is a good phenotype? Maybe having a shorter beak, maybe having a narrower beak, a narrow beak. Okay, that might be it. So now what I want you to do is, there's a table that looks like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few video clips, and your job is to tell me what the squid's adaptation is and why it would make it fit for its environment. So I already gave you an example, the octopus. So the octopus can change its color and its texture. It's an adaptation, and it's useful for its environment because it could hide from predators. So what I need you guys to do is fill this in as you watch the next few video clips. Okay, here's the first one. Gotta wait a little bit.
Now, and look at some creatures that are positively amazing.
Go.
Cephalopods, headfoots. As a kid, I knew them as calamari mostly. But this is an octopus. This is the work of Dr. Roger Hanlon at the Marine Biological Lab. And just fascinating how cephalopods can, with their eyes, incredible eyes, sense their surrounding, look at light, look at patterns. Here's an octopus moving across the reef, finds a spot to settle down, curls up, and then disappears into the background. Tough thing to do. In the next bit, we're going to see a couple of squid. These are squid. Now, males, when they fight, if they're really aggressive, they turn white. And these two males are fighting. They do it by bouncing their butts together, which is an interesting concept. Now, here's a male on the left and a female on the right. And now the male has managed to split his coloration so that the female only always sees the kinder, gentler squid in him. And the male's on the We're going to see it again. Let's take a look at it again. Watch the coloration. White on the right, brown on the left. He takes a step back, so he's keeping off the other males by splitting his body, and he comes up on the other side. Bingo. Now, I'm told that's not just a squid phenomenon with males, but I don't know if that's it. Cuttlefish. I love cuttlefish. This is a giant Australian cuttlefish, and there he is, his droopy little eyes up here. But they could do pretty amazing things, too. Here we're going to see one backing into crevice, and watch his tentacles. He just pulls them in, makes them look just like algae. Disappears right into the background. Positively amazing. Here's two males fighting. Once again, they're smart enough, these cephalopods, they know not to hurt each other, but look at the patterns that they can do with their skin. Okay? Just an amazing thing. Here's an octopus. Sometimes they don't want to be seen when they move because predators can see them. And here, this guy actually can make himself look like a rock, and looking at his environment can actually slide across the bottom using the waves and the shadows so he can't be seen. He blends right into his motion blends right into the background. The moving rock trick. So we're learning lots new from the shallow water, still exploring that deep, learning lots from the shallow water. There's a good reason why. I mean, the shallow water is full of predators.
Okay, so based on that, you could now fill in the squid and cuttlefish section of the